Hello, hello. It is day 191 of my 365-day raw suspending disbelief journey. It is October 23rd, October 30th, my goodness, 2024. And today, okay, so I am definitely feeling still a little bit dragged down by the collective energies. I'm still feeling a lot of angst coming, not at me, but around me. Like I feel like I'm noticing it in a lot of people that they're having struggles, that um, there's just this overwhelming, like, what the hell is wrong with people vibe going on. And it, I mean, like I said, it's not directed at me. I'm not directly having any fallout from it, but I am noticing it. So, um, by noticing it, I am picking up on a little bit of the energy and having to be really conscious about that and having to be um, on top of my own energy maintenance because of it. And also, B, just it gets me really curious, like what's going on collectively that I may not be aware of, right? So, just sort of starting off on that foot, it is Halloween Eve, right? Like we're right on the eve of Halloween. I am like, the kids are carving a pumpkin. Cadence was baking. I'm like running to parent teacher conferences. I've got calls. I've got all these things and I'm still like packing the little treat things for the kids to take to their classes tomorrow. And Casey's been sick and just, it's been a lot. And again, not falling apart. Nothing is horrendous. Nothing is exploding in my face, but it's just been like, wow, a lot. So, it's very, very interesting. And, also just I'm in this weird in between. So I'm like, I've launched my thing. I'm really excited about it. And I have almost no energy. So I'm like, because everything else is like, there's just so much else. And so um, I'm sharing, I'm doing the things, all of that, but I feel like my full, like, 100% is not thrown into it right now, which I want it to be. I want it to be like, I'm here, look at me, this thing is amazing, come and see, right? Like that is, and that is really how I feel about the offer itself, about the masterclass that I'm sharing. Like it is going to be incredible. It is going to be, um, very, very informative, very eye-opening, I think, for a lot of women. So I have really high goals set for this. I am hoping that the rest of the craziness dies down a little bit so that I can get my full energy behind it because um, the goals that I set are going to require my full energy. So um, this is it's just so strange. Like it's strange being excited, but also not having the time to put my excitement into it fully, which is just um not my norm. Usually it's sort of like if I'm really into something, I'm going to be all in and nothing is going to hold me back from that. And I hyper focus and, all of these things. And it is, I think, a good thing in this sense. Like I've got more balance going on than that. I've got, everything else is okay and everything else is not falling apart just because I've decided that this is when I'm going to launch. And so I'm putting everything into it and not looking at anything else. So I have that balance again. Like this has been the sort of the theme for the last while where it's like, I may have these little wobbles and ups and downs, but nothing massive, nothing really crashing and nothing really, so it's good. It's just really different. It's really different for me to not have um not the freedom because I do have the freedom. I could choose to do that. It's just um it's almost like I have more conscience about it now, but that's not quite right either. Like it's not that I didn't have a conscience about it before. It's that I didn't have the self control, self motivation, self whatever to maintain the other pieces at the same time. And I would just allow myself to just go buck wild with the hyper focused thing. And I'm curious. I'm a little bit in this like iffy feeling of like, if I don't go all in, is it going to be enough? And I mean, all in as far as like, am I behind it 100%? Yes. Am I energetically ready for the things that I'm calling in? Yes. All of that, I am behind it 100% in that sense. What I mean is just not throwing all like 24 hours a day of my energy into it. And that is the shift. That is what's different. And so I'm going, if I'm not putting every last minute of my energy into this, am I going to hit those big, I really set myself big goals this time. So I'm like, am I going to hit those big goals? Um, and, and also the flip side of that I am consistently trying to suspend disbelief about it. And like, no, it does not require me to be on 24/7 as I have been in the past for big launches, in order to hit the goals that I set. That I have now created this A lifestyle, but B business that are perfectly capable of running smoothly and in a balanced way while I do these big things and launch something massive and have these incredibly big goals. So it's a little bit of a test of my faith in it and a little bit of a like, this will be the first opportunity to really prove to myself that I can have this beautiful balance in all the different areas of my life and business, even in the most intense parts of business or life or whatever. That, when life is taking over, my business doesn't fall apart. And that when business needs to take over a little bit, that my life isn't falling apart because I have this really incredible balance. So I'm exploring it. I'm putting it out there. I will hopefully be looking back at this in a few weeks going, oh yeah, this worked amazingly. It was better even than when I put 100% of my time into a launch. It actually worked better for me to be more balanced, that it worked better for calling people in because my energy was more balanced, things like that. I'm really hoping that that's the end result of this. I'm suspending disbelief about that, that is what the outcome will be. So, if you would like to participate in this masterclass, I'm going to drop the link for this one. I haven't been sharing a lot about like specifically about offers that I'm selling or sharing about in this podcast, just because this is really like a more of a self exploration podcast and sharing the shifts that come with that. And, um, you know, anyone who's listening sort of getting that secondhand, um, those mindset things that come up and all of the work that it takes to go through that and being able to take all of that and use it for themselves, right? So this isn't necessarily where I am specifically selling, but with this one, it's not only because I've set myself big goals, but this one is actually very much related to my mind, and um it is the Wild Feminine Success Blueprint Masterclass. And so this is me showing you, like, here is the whole puzzle. This is what all the pieces are that go into your balanced, successful, wealthy, and happy life. Okay, so success does not always equal wealth and vice versa. And a lot of the time, especially for heart-centered people, it's like we have to choose between joy and money. And I'm learning and have been learning over the last while now that is just not, it's simply not true. The more balanced that I have become in my life, the more income that has been coming in. So I haven't been reporting a ton on my income in particular in this podcast, but it is increasing. It's a gradual increase. It's a steady climb kind of thing. And every piece that I complete in my business turns into just a little bit more of like this recurring revenue and things like that I don't have to actively be working for all the time. And I'm watching that number go up regularly. So that is an amazing feeling. And really, like, what this masterclass is going to be all about is here are all the pieces, and there are, I have taken part in so many different coaching programs, so many different master classes, so many different things like that, where different coaches are telling you the pieces that you need to get to success, or that you need to get wealth, and, all of these kinds of things. Um, and even ones specifically around the happiness piece, right? But never sort of an all in one. And one, the difference with this one is that I am sharing the one thing that I've never learned from a single other coach. And it is my secret sauce. It is the piece that has made it so that I have the balance, and yet am still getting told things like today. I was told my motto should be, it should be impossible, because the things that I do should be impossible. And, um, and yet while I'm doing these impossible things, I'm having this balanced, separate pieces of my life. Like all of the pieces are equal, and they're not one taking over everything else anymore. And it feels really amazing. And I want to share all of those pieces with everyone. So the masterclass is $33. It is very easy access. I did not want it to be a money barrier for people to be able to come in and hear about all the pieces and know what all they should be including if they're trying to create wealth and happiness in their life all at once. And yeah, so I will drop the link for that. I will probably share about it a few more times. I'm super excited about it. It is going to be very powerful, very transformative. And following that, for anyone who would like to dig a little bit deeper, I am also going to be running a 3-day workshop, which is going to be where we will actually dig into, okay, which pieces of that puzzle that I shared in the masterclass are in particular affecting your life, are holding you back and blocking you, and from having that balanced wealth and joy combo. So it will be a deep dive. It will be very intensive. It's just for 3 days, and it will give you super, super clarity into how these pieces have been holding you back, how that's been showing up in your life, and what you didn't even realize was connected to these pieces that you've maybe been ignoring or didn't even know to look at. And just both of these are going to be absolutely incredible. And then anyone who wants to continue further from that, I am going to be running a 3-week mastermind. Again, it's going to be very intensive, short but intensive, to actually start working on clearing away those blocks, working through the limiting beliefs. I will be bringing in my healing tools into that container. It will include any shamanic or Reiki healing that I feel is helpful or that is needed in order to cut cords, clear, past traumas and wounds and things like that that need to be dealt with in order to move forward on these pieces. And it will just take you from stuck into momentum. So that is going to be really powerful and incredible as well. So all 3 of those are coming up before the end of the year, which we have just about almost 2 months left exactly. So they're all coming up very, very quickly. And it is possible to purchase your spots in all 3 of those right away, right off the hop. You can do that from the same page that you would go to for the masterclass link if you're interested in that. There are payment options, and I am always, always, always going to be the person who is open to different payment plans, extended payment plans, and being flexible in order to empower the people who are ready for change and aren't a match financially for their readiness. So if that's ever a thing, you can contact me. My contact stuff is all over the place. And you can reach out to me, and I'm always happy to come up with a plan that works for both of us. So again, I will drop that link for the $33 masterclass, that will just give you that eye opener and clarity around what is it exactly that needs to be brought in order to create the balanced lifestyle that is bringing you financial comfort as well as joy and play and just all of the pieces that you not only desire but deserve. So that will be in the show notes of this episode. And Um, yeah, it's even interesting, like, sharing about that right now. I feel like I'm so excited for it. It's so aligned. It's so clear. It's so powerful. And yet I also feel this, like, before in the past, I would have been like, "Oh my goodness." And it would have been this very intense, like, I have so much to say about this and blah, 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 blah. And my energy's not like that right now. It's just very calm. And um and not because, oh, I'm too tired to be excited or anything like that, just sort of like, this is going to be powerful, the end. So it's just really, I'm fascinated. It's like I'm not actually seeing myself from the outside, but it feels like I'm almost seeing myself from the outside because it's just so interesting, like noticing how differently I'm showing up, noticing how differently day-to-day things, the little things in life feel, and how much less intimidating some of them are, how much less overwhelming they are, how much easier it is to balance everything that's on my plate, juggle all the balls, um, everything just sort of feeling like it's really, really, truly and deeply coming into alignment. So, I mean, I'm really excited about that. And um, I am, I'm just watching it all with, like, I feel like I'm doing this big experiment and I'm a scientist and I'm just in awe, just watching all of the developments. So it's really interesting. Um, yeah, so I think that's all that I have to share with you today. It is Halloween tomorrow. So all of you who are um, parents of young children who are going trick or treating, I hope that, I mean, when you listen to this, it will be just after Halloween. So I hope that you had a great Halloween. I hope that your kids were safe and healthy and got lots of candy and had lots of fun and just enjoyed it to the fullest. And actually, oh, that's another thing. So actually, on Monday this week, so just 2 days ago, the pre-Halloween episode of the Spiral of the Rose podcast, which I do with Kelly Femright, is was released, and we actually had my shamanic teacher, Maestra Siobhan Wisdom Divine, come and join us as our first ever guest on that podcast. And we talked about mediumship, which is like so unbelievably perfect at this time of year where the veil is so thin, spirit is so close, you could practically touch them. My head just started tingling as soon as I said that. And we just had like the most fun conversation between the three of us on that podcast. So I'm actually going to link that episode as well below. If you have never checked out the Spiral of the Rose podcast, go check it out to listen to the guest episode. Because I just think it was such a great one and it's such perfect timing with Halloween and all of that. So I hope that you will all go and give that a listen. And if you enjoy that show, then you can subscribe to that podcast as well and follow us on there. We've got some great topics on there too, and always really enjoy the conversations that we have on that podcast as well. So um, yes. So I will also drop that link in the show notes for any of you who are interested in listening to that. Happy Halloween, happy Samhain, and lots of love and blessings. And that is what I have for you today. And I will talk to you all tomorrow.